And welcome back to another episode of Underdog Podcast. No episode yesterday. I got a little busy house hunting. Really wasn't house hunting. The neighborhood I'm looking at and stuff, they have new construction homes. I think I mentioned before, and so sounds like it's good. Like it's something that's a possibility. I'm on a waiting list, and high up on a waiting list, and there's like 4 slots available. I'm one of those 3 people on the waiting list of the 4 slots, so I'm hoping I get it and everything should be good and stuff. So yeah, yeah, it is what it is. So I had texted a local real estate agent and stuff, and I told him that he's saying he could have helped me out with that, but I don't know how he could have helped me out with that at all. But whatever. Anyways, uh, it's interesting because this house hunting and things like that, man, getting beat out in a competitive market. I'm like, fuck. I guess it seems like the better option really just go with new construction. If some new neighborhood happens to be going up in your area or whatever the case may be, or new homes going up in a neighborhood that you like. Uh, yeah, it is what it is. So that's something how it goes stuff. But looking for a house, and now it's the whole point now of I had to switch lenders and get rid of my other pre-approval and stuff, and then I also have to go every step of the way of the process and pick out everything in the house. Shit I never done before. But all those years watching HGTV with my mother is starting to come in handy. And my mother's been guiding me the whole way. Anyway, she loves house hunting and looking for homes and stuff like that. So yeah, man, I shouldn't have did it. I shouldn't have sent a text. I didn't think it was text me right back. Uh, I don't know how he could have helped me with that because I thought about it, but I don't know how he could help me with a new house, like, because there's no real estate agent involved in a new home. It's just there's nothing you can do. There's no model home even to look at. Like, there's nothing there. It's just a lot. That's it. And the stuff is on the internet. I don't care because I see the floor plans and I care about the neighborhood in general. That's it. That's the neighborhood I want to live in and stuff. So whatever. Anyways, man. Ah, fuck it. House hunting, buying a house, renting, all the other shit is annoying. It's annoying. But it's one of those things you deal with in life and stuff. So it is what it is. All right, I'm kind of late on this, but I'm glad I didn't go right off the bat right away to give my thoughts on this trial. I know I've been following it and stuff and the details and different things and the evidence. Uh, my personal opinion: do I think Derek Chauvin is guilty? Uh, Guilty of what? This is a real question. Cause I think of him as being guilty of negligence, uh, no different than a doctor in a malpractice. Like you mess up and stuff, you made a mistake. I mean, you can say, "Oh, well, he was on his neck for a long time." Well, I guess I talked about before. Some training, you are trained to be up on the neck, shoulder area and stuff, not apply direct pressure to the neck, but if you lay down on top of someone, or if you want to keep someone on the ground, if you can secure their head in a position where obviously they're not dying and being choked to death, you prevent them from getting up. Derek Chauvin, I think, is like 5'6", 5'7", 5'8", 5'9", whatever, 140 something pounds. George Floyd, 6'5", 6'6". He can easily get up if he's just on his back. So, and then you could make the case or argument for he shouldn't have been on for so long and stuff like that. I always think it's interesting when people say, "Oh, he was saying he can't breathe, he can't breathe." If you can speak and say you can't breathe, you can breathe. I don't. You might be struggling, right? You might be, I guess I can't breathe is a wrong term to say. It's really more like, hey, I'm struggling to breathe, but also the man's on drugs stuff too, and he's on fentanyl. Like, I mean, there's so many different ways you can go about this instead of the obvious, oh, he shouldn't have did this, he shouldn't have did that. There's always this, he should have, this should have, nobody should have. Nah, it's you. If you're in a position of a police officer or military or some type of law enforcement, security, something like that. I mean, you make these decisions. He's on them and stuff, and everyone else is around looking, right? Now he was trying to be on him more nonchalant, so he tried to give the appearance that he wasn't really applying that much pressure, which he wasn't, because he had his hands in his pocket leaning back. I don't know if you know anything about basic physics, but that's not applying your full weight of your pressure and stuff. And even from a different point of angle, if you see some from some of the photos or the video during the court case or during the trial, you could tell that he was also a little bit over the shoulder more, or some bit instead of directly on the neck. And if he had a heart problem, a heart condition, well, I mean, you could apply a little bit of pressure to me, and I have shortness of breath. Something's gonna happen, man. Like actually, I could wear a mask and stuff, and that happens. So, I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can go with this. And so for me, to I don't know how you could be a juror and go and find him guilty on all three charges, without a shadow of a doubt. Me personally, I don't, I don't know how there's a shadow of a doubt that you can have that. I just can't, I couldn't do it. So I obviously think that the whole Maxine Waters and other politicians, the jury felt some pressure, or the jurors rather felt some pressure from society to convict a guilty plea. And the judge already kind of hinted at it, saying that well, some of this stuff could be used in an appeal and get a possible mistrial. Almost like he was like, "Hey, I kind of feel the same way, but I'm not going to be the one to do it." And so, what I think is interesting, I listened to a bunch of different people and read a bunch of different things, names I don't remember, which I don't like doing. If I hear an idea from someone speaking or something, like I try to always give credit where credit's due. I mean, even if I don't agree with their idea, I mean, if it helped me brainstorm to my own idea, I still want to give credit. But I forgot who the fuck I got this from or whatever. I think I know I listened to Officer Tatum, Young River 5'9". Man, there's some other people. I think Jack Prasobo on Twitter. There's some other people too. Just different things I've seen or whatever. Uh, Natalie Denise, whoever else, whatever. But my thing is, and it's a very good point. We're saying justice was served, but it's like, what justice was served? Right? Like, how is this justice? And they say, oh, the system doesn't work. This time it did, but it's like, actually, it's not. Like, it was just all a show. George Floyd, or excuse me, Derek Chauvin was a police officer at the time of this crime, so working for the state. The state prosecuted him. So it really seems like the state just threw this one person under the bus. And I guess the other people, as we'll see the trials during this summer. So the state essentially got away with shit and threw him under the bus. There was a payout to George Floyd's family, which, let's be honest, I don't even think they was that close to him. It's just an observational opinion. I'm just giving it my honest opinion. And I thought it was odd too that George Floyd's white girlfriend, rather the white girlfriend that no one seems to picture or talk about, probably because it didn't fit the whole Black Lives Matter mantra or whatever. So the white girlfriend, or the narrative, excuse me, the white girlfriend, I think I read that she was a former high school teacher to Dante Wright. If that's a coincidence, I can't believe that shit, man. I'm once again, I'm still skeptical on this all being actually true. That is all went down. It wasn't just no psychological operation. That all this actually was real. And you say that's crazy, but hey, I mean, the government convinced y'all planes flew into a tower and it collapsed upon itself. So, and people think that shit is real. The eyes lie. If you perceive the world with just your eyes, well, you're easily fooled. And you live in a cloud of naiveness, like a shroud of naiveness, rather. Yeah, you're easily fooled. Because if you really think the world, you could perceive the world with just your eyes, I don't know what to tell you. That's a false sense of reality. So I'm skeptical. Everything I see, hear, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm skeptical of it because you gotta perceive the world with more than just your five senses, and you gotta do your due diligence and your research and understanding and gather information and stuff. Man, there's so much out there that you just don't really know of or are sure of. So, but if I'm gonna take it for the fact that it is saying that George Floyd died and stuff, all right, let's go with this narrative. Okay, the state prosecuted itself because once this happened, Derek Chauvin was immediately fired, and I was saying he's a civilian, but he committed the so-called crime because on record now is what it is, the crime. He committed the crime and convicted guilty as of for now until an appeal goes about. He was convicted guilty of a crime while being a police officer working for the state. So justice is good. Now we got justice. Justice of what? What? The state still got away with it. They just did a payout, and now they go about their business, right? Like that's the politicians still win. Right? The politicians still win. Nothing matters, man. Nothing has really changed, and I think Nancy Pelosi and I heard people say this too. Like maybe some change will come about this. What change? Oh, a lot of change came about. Rodney King, huh? And what change do you want? Because the only change that can come about is in that local vicinity of that jurisdiction in which the crime took place. Because every other jurisdiction, every other district, every other city, county, state, whatever, goes about policing in their own different manner because not we all are not exactly the same, and you have different. Well, I guess you want to say cultures based upon a geographical location. So some people might act a slightly different way. And I say slightly, that's literally what it is, slightly different. It might be perceived as a huge difference in the perspective of other human beings as being a human being. But if you keep or if you have the perspective of looking down on Earth or at Earth or from space, whatever, down, up, it doesn't even matter. So if you're looking at Earth and you're looking at human beings from an outside perspective, the changes that might appear are very extremely minimal. To be honest with you, it's just be honest. Like you can take any species in the animal kingdom, take dolphins, cats, dogs, domesticated pets. Pay attention to them. Like there's slight little variations from an outward perspective, but amongst themselves, they might see a huge difference. It's all perspective. So to say that this trial brought about change is like, how? What are you talking about? Changing what? Oh, I won't put my knee on your neck anymore. Just keep it on your back, your shoulder blades. Like, put my hand on your head. Like, what change could come about this? Because we're talking about change from a standpoint of how the police interacts with civilians and stuff like that. All right, but what about the change in character of regular people in society? How about that? Right? How about George Floyd? How about nobody try to do any counterfeit money at a local convenience store because hey, they'll call the cops and that might be an issue for you. How about that? Nope, nope, nope. It's funny. These changes that we want always come from the standpoint of the government or the state, and we want those entities to change to better govern us. That makes no fucking sense. We don't need those institutions to change so they can better govern us. No. One, we need to minimize those institutions and we apply the change that we want to see in society to ourselves individually. Right? Because it's a constant universal law of cause and effect. George Floyd does this, the effect of this goes on. You have the ripple effect of those actions. You may or may not agree with it, but that's what it goes about. I don't believe in the majority of these laws. I don't agree with the majority of these laws. But I know I don't control the world around me. I know I can't manage the things I can control, though, which is my own individual actions. So I know if I'm engaging in something that the effects of those actions would be where other people feel like they have to put me in my place or try to govern me, then now we have an issue. So my best choice of action, if I'm thinking clearly about my decisions, would be to, I don't know, not do certain things. Like I think I said before, I don't go out. No, I was telling my son this. I don't go out and kill someone because there's a law for, against murder. No, I don't go out and kill someone because I don't want to. One, because of the person that which I want to be. I want to treat others like I treat myself, or how I want to be treated. I don't want nobody to try to kill me. Therefore, I'm not going to try to kill anyone else. And also, I know if I go kill someone, well, guess what? There's consequences that come with those actions, and not just of the state or law enforcement or whatever. But how about, I don't know, a family member saying, "Fuck this! I want my justice. I want my vengeance. Like, let me come after you. You killed my brother, my sister, whatever, right?" And they want to come after me. So you see, we don't need these laws to try to tell us to do things that just makes logical sense. You don't need to go down that road. So the change that we want to see should not be in these institutions, but rather in ourselves. Oh my God, that makes way too much fucking sense. I have got to stop doing that. I, I say that because I really just paid attention to what I just said. I'm like, wait, man, that makes so much sense, right? Right? I don't sound narcissistic, but damn, that really does. Like, we want to. Oh, we gotta change this law. We gotta have this law. We gotta have. To me, the only laws there are, to me, when it comes down to it, like I said before, it's all about economy and resources. So we want rules and regulations on how to play the game of money, right? How to play the game of free market, because we're making that shit up. But simple, basic liberties, I don't infringe on your personal liberties. You don't infringe on my personal liberties, right? You can live your life and what type of sexual orientation, sexual lifestyle, whatever the case may be. Okay, we're cool with that. Now we'll come together and figure out some societal laws. Like, I don't know, we don't fuck with little kids. That's cool. I think we can all agree upon that. And we could probably try to determine what age somebody can drink alcohol or something like that. I'm okay with that to a certain extent. But my thing is, if you can get in a car and drive, I don't see why you can't drink. And you might think that sounds crazy, but I mean, driving a vehicle, you can kill someone. And you say, "Oh, well, if you could drink, then you probably drink and drive." And you have like teenagers don't get in car accidents sober. like, we always under this disguise or this mindset rather. I don't know why I use disguise. I think I was trying to say a different word, but we're always under this mindset of if we don't have a law or something in place, things would be worse. But people don't even realize that a lot of these laws haven't been in existence for that long. And I'm not even talking about just in modern countries such as America, but I'm just talking about in general in the species. A lot of these laws haven't ever even existed. Even with drugs. I don't think drug laws came about until like the 1930s or something like that. It was you could get cocaine, morphine and stuff like that at Walgreens and shit, or wherever local pharmacy. Ron Paul was the first person I heard talk like that and stuff, and I was like, man, this shit makes so much sense. That shit makes so much sense. What are y'all talking about? Like, we had like if we get rid of drug law or something like that, everybody's gonna go out and do cocaine or heroin the next day. Nah, nah. In fact, who knows what you will see? And that's really what it comes down to. We think we know what's going on this planet amongst the human species, but we're really just like winging it, right? It's just a social experiment. We don't know what the fuck we're doing, right? We don't know what we're doing, and some of us are arrogant to think that we can control and manipulate the others into doing what we want to do for the purpose of having a better society. Understand this, and this is a criticism I have about myself too at times. It's narcissistic to think that you can change the world because you're like, oh, I want to change the world for a better. Well, what's for the better? Oh, well, it's if we change, I can change the world. We should change the world so it can be this way, that way, that way, that way. Well, that's just your perspective, and that's coming from a egotistical standpoint of you thinking this is what is best for everybody. Because just because it sounds good and you want everybody to sing kumbaya and hold hands and be lovey-dovey, and this is something I criticize myself often when I have conversations with myself, because I'm a little off. I speak to myself often. My thing is like, how do we think that's best for everybody? Because talked about it before, you learn things from negative experiences. not just the positive experiences. Actually, the positive experiences sometimes feel like it's a goal you achieve, or sometimes you just feel good about it, but you learn things from the negative experiences. But see, no one wants to chase the negative experiences. We don't want to feel good. But really, the things that you're going to learn in life are going to come from those negative experiences. So in order to have those negative experiences, well, you need some negativity in life. So is it really the best thing for a great society, for a great culture, a governing country, a nation, tribe, whatever? Is really the best? Is it the best thing for everybody to be happy, be great, and get along and be peaceful? At that point, will we learn anything as a species? Will we be able to evolve? Take your life, apply this to the micro level. Take your own personal life. Think about all things that has happened to you. Is it to say that all the great things that happened to you was everything positive, or did you learn shit really from the negative experiences? This is something I had to ask myself because I went through. I still have depression, but I went through really bad after my divorce, and I was like, and it hit me after a while. I was like, wait a minute, I am the person I am because of all these negative experiences, because I was challenged and was put up to the test, and I had to overcome these things. So you got to embrace the negativity in the world. You need the negative. Your yin and your yang, your balance. You need those opposing forces. You need those things. So, what really are we talking about when we're talking about society and we're talking about a nation? Oh, we need to have these laws. We need to have these things changed. We need to do this. We need to do that. It's like you're really just talking out your ass. That's why I catch myself sometimes like, wait, what am I saying? Like it sounds good, but like really, nah. We need all these different things. And the thing is, though, you're not gonna find it when the media tells you what it is. A case like George Floyd, you don't really learn nothing from it, other than the media and politicians can manipulate anyone and everyone whenever they feel like it because we allow them to manipulate us through our emotions. Through our emotions. We get changes in policing because of what happened. I think Nancy Pelosi, I think I was watching Adam Calhoun's video on YouTube and he was giving his thoughts stuff. He was talking about politicians winning the end. But he showed a clip of Nancy Pelosi and she was speaking, talking about, thank you, George Floyd, for your sacrifice. Sacrifice? Fuck this man, Jesus? Get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, come on, man. What is he, Jesus? Man, I'm saying some real shit, man. Like this is real talk. This is honesty coming out. Sacrifice? Dude's not fucking Jesus Christ, right? Or the idea of Jesus Christ? No, he's not. He didn't sacrifice nothing, man. It's the dude who made decisions. He made a lot of bad decisions, and eventually one of those bad decisions finally caught up with him. Cause and effect. Dharma, karma. Life lessons. Life lessons. That's what it is. And then he'd be like, "Oh, you can't talk bad about dead, or that man died, he lost his life." Well, you think I'm under the premise that I believe life and death in the same sense that you believe life and death. I don't necessarily think death is a bad thing because once again, it's inevitable. So something that is inevitable that is going to happen, how can that be bad if it is not by design that it's supposed to happen? In fact, I can't be alive without being dead. Like life doesn't have meaning without death, right? So eventually we're all going to die, whether you like it or not. Some of us might go out some ways that we don't really like. Some of us might go out in a peaceful manner, or what we deem as a peaceful manner. Somebody might want to die in their sleep. I personally don't want to die in my sleep. I'd rather be dying and then fall asleep. Right? But I don't want to die in my sleep because if I'm going to sleep and I die, well, shit, the last thing I'm thinking of is the thing I'm going to do tomorrow when I wake up. Then you wake up and realize, oh shit, there is no waking up from this. But man, to sit here and say that he sacrificed himself or his sacrifice will not go out in vain and all that stuff, oh man, it's just narratives being put out there. It's just things that the media wants to spin off. It's just things that politicians want to use to get their rocks off to stay in their so-called position of power of a perceived authority. Nah, man, it's all bullshit, man. It's all bullshit, man. Yeah, that was a little spiel I went on. I ain't really mean to go like that, but well, that's the shit I do. So whatever. Like it, don't like it, don't like it, whatever. Well, so what? So this article here from CNN. Well, I thought it was so interesting because as they list off the charges, where the fuck are the charges? Man, it's in the first paragraph. Did I miss it somewhere? All right, let's read it. It says Minneapolis police chief thanks force. Chief thanks force. What? Minneapolis police chief thanks force during difficult and challenging year. I guess you think of the police force or whatever. And it talks about the passion. I was on this trying to look at the charges. All right, it's here on the side. I don't give a fuck about the article. So, because my biggest thing was the charges, because the charges itself shows a flaw in the system, and and the system. When I actually mean the system, no. So yeah, anytime we say system, we're really talking about people. There is no system. It's just people. It's people doing fucked up shit to other people. So you're like, oh, the system doesn't work. The system, no, it's just people. It's just people because people will always be manipulated. That's why they want to take people out of the equation when you're talking about software programming, smart computers, and different versions of AI. You want to take people out of the equation because people have emotions and can be manipulated. You can't manipulate logical thinking. The logical thinking only does what logical thinking does, whatever makes sense. That's it. Human beings, though, a little emotional, easily manipulated. Okay, because it's Chauvin, Derek Chauvin faces up to 40 years in prison for second degree murder, up to 25 years for third degree murder, and up to 10 years for second degree manslaughter. So, hearing all those charges, my first thought was, how can you be guilty of all those charges? Because those charges in themselves are contradicting. So, when you have the prosecution, the state, when it's applying charges, so they throw out a bunch of charges under the rest stuff because they don't know which ones are going to stick, how the jury is going to go. But if anything, you'll get at least one of those charges. So I thought he would get second degree manslaughter. And I thought people were going to riot because it wasn't a murder charge, because it's not a murder charge. There was no intent to kill. There was no intent to kill. I don't know. Even through video evidence, all this stuff, there was no intent to kill. And if that was an intent to kill, I don't know what the fuck you think a real murder looks like then, because I don't know what to tell you. Like, if that's intent to kill, shit. Well, yeah, everything everybody does is gonna be murdered. That means every time you're in a vehicle accident, someone dies, that's intent to kill. Because you ran that red light, you know the consequence of what's gonna happen, and man, bam. Next thing you know, you hit somebody and they die. Well, that's intent to kill. And the way in which how this trial is going, and that's the scary thing about all this is that when you're having these legal proceedings, you're setting legal precedents, right? For someone else in that city, in that state, or whatever the case may be. Or if the case is federal. I think even in federal cases, they can kind of look at legal precedents at state level cases. I'm not sure though. I'm just throwing it out there. I could be wrong. But second degree murder. So let's look at the charges of second degree murder. And like I always say, go straight to the source. So this is on the government website, revisorminnesota.gov, Minnesota legislator, 2020, Minnesota statutes, 609.205. Okay, I'm not reading all that. That's being a little too anal. Shut up. So, man, I'm clicking around. I didn't mean to do all that. It says, actually, no. I don't want this one. But, okay. Okay, now I'm. Damn, did I click on the same thing twice? I am getting confused. All right, now here we are. I had to keep it in order in which the way it said it. So in the article, so second degree murder, 40 years, right? So here's the charge: second degree murder, Minnesota statute 609.19. It says intentional murder, drive-by shootings is the example of second degree murder. No, this is from their Minnesota legislator. Second degree murder. So you tell me he was found guilty? Guilty. guilty of second-degree murder. It said whoever does either of the following is guilty of murder in the second degree may be sentenced to imprisonment for not more than 40 years. Causes the death of a human being with intent to affect the death of that person or another, but without premeditation. So you're telling me that he intentionally tried to kill George Floyd. I don't know about you, but if I'm going to try to kill someone, I'm not going to do it with everybody watching with their phones recording. Like I said, even his body language was trying to show that he wasn't trying to do any real damage. And I say that because, well, if you really want to try to kill someone, that's not how you do it. And that's from training, maybe, but that's from simple understanding body physics. Like, if I'm going to try to choke you, I'm going to do it in a more dangerous manner, right? If that is my actual intent. And just off that fact alone, if I had any reasonable doubt, then I should not convict. I should not say guilty. So this is why I say the jury was clearly compromised. So it says causes the death of a human being while committing or attempting to commit a drive-by shooting in violation. So drive-by shooting, not a fucking drive-by shooting. On to the next one. It says unintentional murderers. Whoever does either of the following is guilty of unintentional murder in the second degree and may be sentenced, blah, blah. Causes the death of a human being without intent to affect the death of any person while committing or attempting to commit a felony offense other than criminal sexual conduct in the first or second degree with force or violence or a drive-by shooting. So once again, this goes with a drive-by shooting, right? Kind of like that thing that happened, I think somewhere, I don't know where it was at, but the 7-year-old girl that got killed in a drive-by shooting or some type of shooting in a McDonald's drive-thru. Black Lives Matter don't care about that. Just throwing it out there. Black Lives Matter doesn't care about when little kids die. Black Lives Matter is only talking about cops because they're Marxist people. So they're trying to get rid of the so-called republic or democracy or whatever so they can bring in their Marxist, communist political agenda. I'm just telling you, that's just how it is. Read the Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx and I forget the other author, but you can make up all the shit you want to about Marxism. Oh, it sounds so good. But yeah, nah, whatever, man. And then it says causes the death of a human being without intent to affect the death of any person while intentionally inflicting or attempting to inflict bodily harm upon the victim. When the perpetrator is restrained under an order of protection and the victim is a person designated to receive protection under the order. As used in this clause, order for protection includes an order for protection issued, blah, blah, or harassment restraining order or something like that. So it still doesn't apply to George Floyd because he was a cop operating at this time. And it's not having nothing to do with a restraining order, trying to do anything, stuff like that, or you get caught in a fight with a spouse or none of that shit. So how can you even prove someone is guilty? How can you prove Derek Chauvin is guilty under the second degree murder charge? Doesn't apply. Doesn't apply. The fact that he even got away with this charge lets you know that's really just an abuse of authority, to be honest with you. I don't even know how you. I know I'm not a lawyer. I don't know that much about law. I know how to fucking read, though. I'm sorry. I know how to read, and there's no interpretation of the law. Like it's written right there, right? None of these little subdivisions under the second degree murder charge applies to Derek Chauvin. I don't know how more clear it gets than that. And then so the next charge is third degree murder. All right, well let's check out third degree murder. It says whoever without the intent to affect the death of any person causes the death of another by perpetrating an act admittedly dangerous to others and evincing a depraved mind without regard for human life. Okay, that's not it either. He was trying to restrain the man. He was trying to restrain him. Right? Let's be honest. He was trying to restrain him. Did a poor job of it. Made a mistake. But George Floyd also has medical conditions as well. Right? So there's other contributing factors that affected his health status. That's just being honest, man. Let's be being honest. If you have a heart problem or something like that and you get tased and you die because of the taser, Do you die because of the taser, or do you die because you already have pre-existing conditions that the person that tased you, the officer that's put in that scenario, the officer that tased you didn't know you had a heart problem, and then right as you get tased, like, oh, I got a heart problem, and then they stop, and next thing you know it's too late because well now you're affected, right? Especially when you talk about any tachycardia, super tachycardias, anyone with oh man, arrhythmias rather, yeah, anything affecting the electricity or electromagnetic sphere, no, the electricity of your heart and stuff like that. So, that, right, like, like there's certain things that come along when you in certain job title positions because no one says anything when a doctor does a mistake and kills somebody. No one says anything. Like, there's not a problem with that. Right? No, there's not a problem with that. But that's the same thing. It's a crime, but in a sense of mistake, and it's under the law somewhere. And different states go about it differently. But to keep with this scenario, I don't know how this third degree applies to them either. Like I said, sometimes they throw you on chopped up charges, like they just throw out some random ass shit just to see whatever will stick. And it's stupid, to be honest with you. I think you should be able to justify some of these charges more thoroughly. It says, so the second one was whoever without intent to cause the death similarly causes the death of a human being by directly or indirectly unlawfully selling, giving away, bartering, delivering, exchanging, distributing, or administering a controlled substance. So the drug dealer, George Floyd's friend, he could be charged with third-degree murder. It says bartering, delivering, exchanging. He could be charged with third-degree murder. It's in a sense almost like a physician, a licensed physician, a pharmaceutical person, like a pharmacist rather. You give the person the wrong drugs intentionally or unintentionally, and then that kills them and stuff. Can you be charged third-degree murder? Right? So I'm just reading off of what it says. And this says and okay, so this is yeah, because it's talking about a controlled substance classified in Schedule 1 or Schedule 2. Hell, that shit goes with marijuana. Like, cannabis is classified as a Schedule 1 drug. Makes no fucking sense. Because some Schedule 4 drugs that are way worse than cannabis, but hey, that's how they do you in America, because, the land of the free, supposedly, right? So that doesn't apply to George Floyd either, or Derek Chauvin either. I don't know why I keep saying George Floyd. Derek Chauvin. Actually, I know why. I'm probably sounding racist because I think a white man's name is George and a black man's name is Derek. That's why. Because I'm applying my own social prejudice or racist prejudice, whatever, against it. That's why I keep saying George Floyd and I mean Derek Chauvin. Because I think of Derek, I think of a black dude. See how racism has applied into all of our lives? And it's so illogical because that makes no fucking sense because the name's a name. Who gives a shit? But because I'm going along prejudice, racial stereotypes, I keep mistaking their names. Once again, point out my own racism and shit. Point out my own flaws. Point out my own things I'm trying to do, get rid of myself. Just like the rest of y'all. Fucked up, flawed. Nothing wrong with that. At least I'm aware of it. So now you have the last charge of manslaughter in second degree. It says a person who causes the death of another by any of the following means is guilty of manslaughter in the second degree and be sentenced to more than 10 years. Sentenced to imprisonment for not more than 10 years or to a payment of fine not more than 20,000 or both. And see, this is the charge that I'm just off the top of my head, I'm thinking he should have got. But I know this charge would not have been sufficient enough for your Black Lives Matter people and stuff like that like want to be up on their high horse and shit. Like, shut the fuck up. It says by the person's culpable negligence, whereby the person creates an unreasonable risk or consciously takes chances of causing death or great bodily harm to another. There you go. That's what he did. Because he put him in that position and he held it for a long time, even if some of his knee was on his shoulder, it still was around his neck. It should have been more understanding really use his fucking brain. Like, hey, I might be able to kill him. Yeah, he a big dude. I'm a small dude. I probably can't apply that much pressure, and I'm leaning back. But still, he's at a certain point, he's not. He wasn't gonna get up anyways. And if he was, you had enough cops around you to back up support. And hell, you can even make the argument that why ain't waste your time over a $20 counterfeit bill? I wouldn't. If I was a cop, I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't waste my fucking time on that. I'll come up there and write a report and shit and be like, yep, well, we'll find him. Or I'll go up there and try to arrest him and stuff since he's still there. But I don't even know. I still probably waste my time. I'm like, it's a waste of time, man. There's some real criminal. Some real crime out there I could be stopping and stuff. I'm not gonna waste my time on this shit. I mean, act like I'm doing something. Like, actually, that's exactly what I would do. That's exactly what I would do in law enforcement. Because I haven't done similar things in the military, but sometimes I'm like, man, I'm not wasting my time with this shit. Let me go and act like I'm fucking supposed to do something. I got other shit to worry about. That's higher up on my priority levels. It says by shooting another with a firearm or other dangerous weapon as a result of negligently believing the other to be a deer or an animal. Yeah. Didn't Dick Cheney do that? Wait a minute, didn't Dick Cheney do that shit, bro? I just thought about it. Did he do that? Oh man, I don't know that person that died or not though. I don't think they died. And it says by setting a spring gun, pitfall, deadfall, snare, or other like dangerous weapon or device. That's more towards hunting as well. By negligently or intentionally permitting an animal hunting. By committing or attempting to commit a violation of section 609.378, negligent or endangerment of a child, and the first, second. So really, he should have just got, if you're going to find him guilty of a charge, it would have been second-degree murder. And see, when I was saying I don't think he's going to be guilty, I was thinking of the other charges of murder. Manslaughter, rather. Yeah, so I was thinking of the other charges of murder. And I thought he would be charged with second-degree manslaughter. Maybe. Actually, I still, no, I still was kind of iffy on that because I didn't know, because of him having pre-existing health conditions, him being on fentanyl and all the other stuff or whatever. So I wasn't sure even if you can convict him being guilty of second-degree manslaughter. To be honest with you, because of the evidence presented during the trial. But facts don't matter to people. It's all about emotions. And to see people react in the manner in which they were excited, like, oh yeah, I can't believe this happened. We're so happy. They're so happy that Derek Chauvin got found guilty. Yeah, this is such great. How can you be happy about some shit like this? Nobody wins in this. There's nothing to be happy about. There's no, black people celebrating or just white people, whoever, it doesn't matter. People celebrating, oh yeah, we're so great that he finally got convicted, man. Like, you're just being manipulated emotionally, whether you want to admit to it or not. There's nothing to be happy about. There's nothing to be happy about in this situation. All we could do is look at this as a societal argument, rather, or maybe an issue. Like, and not even just necessarily from a police standpoint, but hey, what we as a society are doing for when our regular citizens are just walking around doing counterfeit money and stuff or whatever, right? Where these people, or some people are doing unnecessary things because the police called on him, and he still just hung around. What about his friend? Yeah, pled the fifth. Decided to plead the fifth. And it's like, I'm not testifying. Yeah, he's not going to testify because if he did, he could be also involved for a third-degree murder charge. I just read you the definition. Because that's his drug deal. He's dealing in controlled substance, ultimately affecting the outcome of one man's life. There's no winner in this shit, man. And there's nothing to celebrate. Oh yeah, Derek Chauvin is going to jail. He's going to prison. There's nothing to celebrate about this, man. It's nothing to celebrate. Because what is this? Well, let's be honest. This just in the fact that the state, and this is why I seen somebody on Twitter say, I can't remember the person's name who brought this up, but it was a great point. Was it Lauren something? I don't remember. It was a great point though. This doesn't help out anything because all it shows is Derek Chauvin was one bad apple. He was one person on the police force that made a mistake. Or even if you think he didn't make a mistake and it was intentional, well, this is just one person intentionally doing something negative towards another person in a police uniform. Because the police department didn't get in trouble, the state didn't get in trouble. The hell, the state tried Derek Chauvin, right? The state tried itself for its own practices and found itself guilty. But guess what? You don't see it that way because Derek Chauvin now under trial is a civilian. Even though during the time of the so-called crime, he was acting under the state, right? What if his training was that? And he just messed up a little bit, because that's all it takes, man. You have to understand how to do a chokehold properly. He wasn't even a chokehold. But you have to understand how to do a chokehold properly. It's funny because Trump signed the legislation, the executive order to not have any police force use a chokehold yet. Guess what? When you watch MMA fights, what do you see? A fucking chokehold. You ever seen a triangle chokehold from the ground? Right? Anaconda, a reverse chokehold, right? A rear naked chokehold. Like you can choke someone out in a sanctioned sporting fighting event, competition, but you as a police officer cannot choke someone out, even though you carry a weapon and a taser and a baton. Hey, make this shit make sense. That's my new slogan for now. I gotta put it on a shirt. Make this make sense. Like, make this shit make sense, man. It doesn't apply. I say we try to apply this broad brush of these generic terms and these generic laws or whatever. We always try to have a generalization over a wide variety of issues. We're too large of a population of a species and complex in a certain manner to have a general brush over everything. It's all case by case scenario. But see, we try to judge all these things on a wide scale. But really, you can't do that. And that's why I don't like government, because when people come along saying, oh, let's judge everything on a wide scale, on a generalization or a broad brush, well, now what you're trying to do is control or have some type of manipulation over an entirety of something. And that's hard to do because there's so many factors that come into play in each case by case scenario. You can't just have a generalized assumption or generalized law or rule of thumb to go about in all these different issues. Because what's a chokehold to someone who has a gun in their hand? Now, I try not to use a weapon. I take the chance of me getting shot because this person has a gun in their hand, and I put them in a chokehold. And guess what? I'm not even talking about being a police officer. One of just a regular civilian, and I see someone's about to be harmed by someone else, and I put them in a chokehold. And they happen to die because I messed up and do it wrong. Do I go down for second-degree murder? Now, say I'm a law enforcement officer or a military person. Now, military don't really apply. But let's say I'm a law enforcement officer and I apply a chokehold because I don't want to use my gun, because I don't want to shoot nobody, because I don't want to get in trouble for that or be thrown to the wolves and shit because I'm white and this dude's black. I don't want to use a taser because, oh, then they'll complain about that as well. Oh, you should have tased him, and then like, oh, why did you tase him? You should have did this, because what if he dies? What if he has a heart problem? So I'm not gonna tase him or something. So I'm gonna do a chokehold, and it was like, oh shit, I forgot I can't do a chokehold because now there's executive order on that. I can't apply chokeholds. So I want to try to. So now what? Now what do I do as a law enforcement officer? Well, don't worry, because they want to bring about a federal police anyway. So that's what they're trying to do. Bring about one centralized rule of thumb to apply to all case scenarios. Once again, it's a collective and it's an individual clashing against each other. And then you have the emotional and the logical clashing against each other. Instead of trying to find the gray area in between, find the balance, find the middle ground. This shit will never fucking work. This social experiment that we call the human species is all over the fucking place. It's all over the place, man. So many contradictions. This whole Derek Chauvin trial is one big ass contradiction. No one wins. It's a fucking mockery. Let's call it what it is, a mockery. At best, you get manslaughter in the second degree for Derek Chauvin, right? For those that want that type of guilty verdict. To me, I think that's even still a stretch. I still think that's a stretch. But should something come about? Yeah, I don't know. They have a third degree manslaughter or something like that, but yeah, something should come about because it's still to me an accidental death because he did have an effect on him. Yes, George Floyd had pre-existing conditions or the fentanyl, the drugs in the system, heart problems, whatever, but Derek Chauvin did do something as well to attribute to that. What does that get you? I don't know, 5 years. I don't think that destroys another person's life because destroying two lives, nobody wins, right? It's funny because no one really is trying to have any empathy or sympathy for Derek Chauvin. And you say, "Oh, he don't deserve it." Well, if you don't deserve it, then what type of fucking person are you to say that a person like him doesn't deserve empathy or sympathy? I mean, to be honest with you, you can empathize and have sympathy with anyone in any situation. Now, it's some a little bit harder than others. I think I might draw a line with pedophiles, to be honest with you, or people that rape and kill young kids, little babies and stuff. I think they're a little bit off and they got to be put somewhere else, maybe put down. I don't know, but sometimes I question that. And I'm trying to be the best human that I can be, but, or the best, yeah, I don't know about that, but this shit don't make no sense, man. Nobody wins in this. Ain't no changes because the state did this. The state did this and they used Derek Chauvin as a scapegoat. And everybody claps and celebrates in the city, in the streets and stuff. And then you still have a little riot and protest or whatever up in Portland. But Portland is a shit zone anyway. So it is what it is because they've been fucking doing whatever they've been doing for the past year. And all this stuff goes on and it just keeps going and stuff, man. Like, wake up, everybody, man. I hate that term. I was like, just use your brain. Use your brain. That's something my father used to tell me all the time as a kid, man. And it's what I tell my kids all the time, too. Hey, use your goddamn brain. Think, man. Think, think, think. Think about what is actually going on. Put your emotions aside and actually look at all this objectively. What are the pros and cons of all this? I don't really see any pros. What? You put someone on a murder charge that didn't commit murder. Good for you. And you're celebrating something. You're praising George Floyd like he was a great, outstanding citizen in society. He wasn't, man. Let's be honest. He wasn't. He might have been trying to change his life around. And even with counterfeit money, I don't feel like that's a big deal either. I don't feel like it's a crime. To that extent, I think that's a fine. If anything, I don't think nobody should be arrested for it. I think it's a fine. If we want to play this whole cops and robbers legal system bullshit. I mean, to me, money is fake anyway. So how can you make a fake thing of something that's already fake and imaginary? So like I said, the whole idea of counterfeit money is illogical as well. None of this shit makes sense, man. Like, it's all nonsensical. It does not make sense, man. You can't make this shit make sense. It's so contradictory of almost on every aspect, almost from every perspective in which you perceive this case. Fucking stupid. Doesn't make sense, man. But here we are. People clapping in the streets, people mad and stuff, whatever. But really, it's all ridiculous. It's all ridiculous, man. We gotta do better as a species. We don't know what the fuck we doing. And you know what? I'll be better off if everybody admitted we don't know what the fuck we doing. I can't even think of transition, man. I just gotta go into this one. This is an article here from the New York Post, and if you haven't heard about it, it's Ohio cop who fatally shot Ma'Khia Bryant is military trained marksman. So I seen this because I want to point out one how the media lies, and I also want to point out about this whole thing with this Ohio cop. And so the shooting of Ma'Khia Bryant Kai Bryant, 16 years old. I don't know if you've seen the video. Let me scroll down. Let's see if it shows the video. No, it doesn't show the video, but you have this image right here, and I'll kind of get into the article soon. But it has this image right here. Police were called as it came up to it. If you check out the Officer Tatum report, or Officer Tatum on YouTube, he's a former police officer. He does a great breakdown of it. It's funny because I don't even agree with all the stuff he says, but I always respect the way he says it because he's being honest about it and he's being straightforward. It's like, you don't have to like my opinion, but this is what my opinion is. I don't think I always agree with him. Shit, I don't even know when I agree with him, to be honest with you. But I like watching him, listening to him. I respect the manner in which he claims he speaks about his opinion. He's like, look, because he says, like, I don't care how you feel. This is what it is. This is my opinion. This is what I think. You gotta respect that, man. Whether you agree with it or not, you gotta respect that. And I appreciate it, really is what it is. I appreciate people just being honest. I might not agree with what you say, but I appreciate you being honest. And from that standpoint, just because I don't agree with what he says doesn't mean I can't see it from his perspective and have respect for his opinion. I can see it from his perspective. I have respect for his opinion, and I understand where he's coming from. So I appreciate it. But so yeah, you have a little still image here from the for those on the audio version of the podcast, from the body cam footage. So to set the scene for the audio version of the podcast, and those of you who haven't seen the video, there's a fight breaking out. I assume amongst teens. Ma'Khia Bryant, and it looks like it was also in the body cam footage. A female was on the ground, and then a dude, it looks like a male, just came and kicked her, like straight up fucking field goal, kicked her ass right in the head. Like, I know she had to have a concussion or something. Like, dude, god damn, man, just right in the head. And then the cop, he kind of went by that because, well, if you see in the still image, there's a fucking knife in Ma'Khia Bryant's hand. A knife is in her hand. She's going to stab this female in the pink. I don't know about you, but you don't take a rocket scientist for someone to, hey, we need to prevent someone else from dying. And the best way to prevent someone else from committing a potential murder is to put them down one way or another. Now, the cop can't run up and try to chokehold her. Okay, that's one thing. And what is he supposed to do at this point in time? Pull out his taser and tase her? How you know that's gonna stop her? In training, what you do is you put the person down, man. You put them down. You put them down. And this is from military training experience. In law enforcement is very similar. You just put the person down. Because what you're trying to do now is preserve life. You're trying to save a life. Because one person doesn't have the respect to preserve life because clearly she's going at this other person with a knife. So she don't care about life. So whether you're a police officer or just a civilian, you would want to try to preserve the life of this other person who is about to possibly lose their life. And does that mean taking the other person's life? Not necessarily. But what you want to probably do is try to stop that person from taking the other person's life. And the only way to stop them sometimes is obviously physical force. And even at times, deadly force. Because sometimes it takes deadly force to stop another deadly force. That's just the reality of the situation. You might not agree with it, and then you hear people say all these different things like, oh, you could have did this, you could do that, you could do that. No. So go with this article here. And like I said, I don't think there's anything as like how can something be justified? I don't know. I'm not in agreement of necessarily killing someone can be justified, even in the act of saving someone's life. Hell, even Batman would tell you killing someone is not justice, where. But I don't think his intention, and most people in that position, officer, military, whatever, law enforcement, security, you don't want to necessarily kill that person. You just want to put them down, right? Sometimes putting them down may mean the risk of them losing their life. That's the reality of the situation, but that's a choice you have to make in that split second decision. It's not. It's people are like, oh, you got all this time to think about, oh, this and that. No, you have your training and stuff, what you're gonna do in these scenarios. But she was lunging in. Where you think she was gonna stab her at, man? She could have easily stabbed. Look at this picture. She wasn't going for her little leg. The way her wrist is out, right? The knife is out 90 degrees, parallel from her body. She's getting ready to swing and twist that 90 degree, 45 degrees, and have that knife go straight into either this female's chest or stomach. She was going for a devastating blow, a disastrous blow, a deadly blow. At this point in time, this female made her choice, right? She made her choice. And I get it. You have knives and gunfight and stuff like that and everything, but you're a law enforcement officer. You coming up and you're supposed to so-called protect and preserve and serve. That's why I say the police officers are not meant to protect anyone. To me, I see them more as mediators. Actually, I've always saw them as mediators because to me, the responsibility of protecting another person's life falls on all of us as a society. Every last one of us should feel some type of responsibility to protect the person next to us to some extent. Not necessarily you gotta jump out and take a bullet for somebody, but you should want to try to protect the person next to you, and that person should want to try to protect you in the case something happens, because it's about the survival of the species, and we want to protect each other. Maybe I'm being, once again, that's that kumbaya shit though. See, that's what I'm talking about. I have to check myself. It's that kumbaya shit because in reality, that's not a situation. So even though I don't necessarily agree with a lot of things police officers do, I kind of see them as a necessity in life in certain situations at times, but in the sense of a mediator, right? To have that independent party. Because let's be honest, all the people right there, are they going to jump in front and try to really stop her because they don't want to get stabbed? And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. Are they going to pull out their gun and shoot her? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they don't trust her shooting skills that well. Be honest with you, the fact that the dude shot her and then shoot the other girl is pretty decent. And the bullets didn't go through her. Right? So she was no type of collateral damage. It's a pretty good shot. I mean, it's up close too, so at the same time, but to go along with this article, how the media lies. I'm kind of switching gears now. I wanted to point out this article just how much the media lies. So it says Brian is a military trained marksman. Now what I see now is like that means nothing, because I know what marksman is like. That doesn't mean anything, man. I think I was like one away from marksman, and because what you do is at least from the Air Force standpoint, you'll do your practice run of like 50-something shots there, and then you end up doing your actual run of 50-something shots. I always tend to do better in my practice one because I focus so much on the practice one. Then when it comes time to the actual one, and I had a shooting instructor literally tell me this in basic training. He's like, hey, you doing this good. All right, save some of the energy. You want to mess up when it comes time to do the actual qualification. Then when it came to the actual qualification, I barely qualified. And so many times I barely qualified and stuff. I gotta take that back. There was another time I shot, and I shot well, but it looked like I didn't shoot that well because I didn't even do all my shots. I got to a certain point and I just stopped because I stopped counting. I forgot what shots I was on. You're supposed to shoot 50. I think I stopped at like 25. Cause I was like, I got like 20 something out of this. I'm good. I just stopped. I was like, hey, why is everybody still shooting? Now I was like, why I still got all this ammo? But my dumb ass don't pay attention sometimes. That's my fault. I qualified because I was like, I think you only got to get like 19 out of 50 or something to qualify. So yeah. I mean, and all it takes too is a bad day at the shooting range, especially in the Air Force. You know, so when I seen all this stuff, like, man, I hope he went in the Air Force on that, because that don't mean that much. Because if you don't shoot that often, right? Depending on what your career field is, especially in the Air Force, you don't shoot that often, man. It's not that type of service or branch. We're not Army and Marines and stuff. You don't shoot that often. And I think Navy, I think they just shoot shotguns because they're on close quarters on the boat. So the fact that it said military, I was like, well, that's a generic thing to say. And see, and I was reading in the comments on Twitter, somebody was talking about it was another vet made a good point too, saying how this narrative is trying to set up, kind of is trying to be used against this Ohio cop, which his name is Nicholas Reardon. It's trying to be used against him because They're saying that, oh, if you're a trained military marksman, you can shoot him in the leg. And this whole misconception of, oh yeah, how come you can't shoot somebody in the leg? There was one time during training we had this conversation like, hey, how come you can't shoot somebody in the leg? Somebody brought it up. I thought before I was just like, man, fuck that, it's hard. Nobody doing that shit, man. I'm putting you down. And they brought it up. It's like, you shooting someone in the leg, one, it's a small target area. That's hard to do, to shoot a limb. There's a reason why when you go to the shooting range, it's always the upper torso, because that's the larger part to hit. Like it takes practice, one, to even hit. And all this, you're not finna shoot no knife at anybody's hand. You're not finna do some incredible shot. Like, this ain't the movies, man. It's hard to hit. Even if you're up close, it's still kind of hard. And also too, if you shoot in the leg, it can go through. So he could have shot in the leg, it could have went through and hit the girl in the pink, or it could have went through and hit the ground and ricocheted up somewhere else as well. Because it's not that much of a solid meat sometimes, depending on you want to shoot somebody. And once again, if you shoot someone in the leg, that doesn't put someone down. If I shoot you somewhere in the chest or in the stomach or in your back, you gonna stop because you're starting to freak out. Like, oh man, did I get hit in a possible vital organ? If I shoot you in the shoulder, man, you kind of walk that off and keep going, right? You get let up with bullets and stuff, you keep going, man. If I shoot you in the ankle or something like that, like I shoot you in the kneecaps, yeah, it might mess you up, but you might. I mean, that's a hard shot to even make too. Just try to shoot someone in the kneecaps. I don't know if I ever said it before to somebody or anything like that, but like, yeah, man, you just shoot me kneecap. And I thought about. I'm not gonna lie, I had the same notion at one time, thinking, oh, how come people can't just shoot me in the leg and stuff? But I had to catch myself, like, what the fuck I just say? I'm in the military. That's hard, bro. That's but shooting somebody in the leg, man. You have to train all the time to shoot someone in the leg and shoot someone in the arm and stuff. And even then, at that same standpoint, if you shoot someone in the leg, so this woman has a knife in her hand. So even that argument would really need to apply to someone who's trying to. I don't even know how to apply, because usually when you shoot someone, they're in a position to apply deadly force to somebody else. So your goal is just to stop them from applying deadly force to somebody else. Your goal is to preserve life, right? I can see if someone had committed a crime and murdered someone and stuff, and they're on the run, and so now you don't know how much of a deadly threat they are, what weapons they might have and stuff. So you try to shoot them in the leg and stuff to stop them and slow them down. Like, I can kind of see that, but that's in theory, man. It's not in practicality. That's not in practicality, man. Because that's too many what ifs. It's easy to say, it's easy to sit back and play what is it? Monday quarterback, right? On the couch and shit. Thinking like, oh yeah, in hindsight, oh, you should do this, you should do that. That's one thing to say, but in reality, well, you just shooting. You shooting to hit the largest target of the body you can hit. Because you need to stop wherever is going on. This 16-year-old girl had a knife in her hand and was getting ready to stab another female, another individual. You're thinking, I just need to stop this. That's it. Shooting someone in the leg, shooting someone in the arm, and so what? You gonna shoot her in the hand? No, bro. That's not a practicality. It sounds good in theory, but it's not. That's not happening in actuality. It's not happening in real life, man. But again, once the media to set up this narrative and stuff with military trained marksmen, I was like, that don't necessarily mean anything. And military trained marksmen, that usually applies to rifles. Right? It applies to M16, M4. I don't even know if you get a marksman ribbon or anything like that, or expert ribbon when you're talking about with handguns. I don't even know that if you even get anything for that. Maybe. I don't even fucking know. I never even heard of that shit before. You know what? I didn't even gotta read the article, because my next question was, oh, military train. I was like, that don't mean shit. And I was like, what branch of the military was? I look at this, I was like, oh man. I didn't even see the badge when I looked at this on Twitter on my phone. Because I scrolled down and seen the stripes. I was like, oh, I already know. If he's military trained, if he's a marksman and he has stripes and he's in the Air Force, he's in security forces. Because those are the only individuals in the military that shoot that often. Everyone else, if they get marksman, it really just had a good day at the range. That's it. But if he's repeatedly getting marksman, actually, I think that's one of the things you're supposed to get. And if you're in the security forces in the Air Force, is to get marksmen over and over because you're the only ones that shooting that much. Man, 12 years of service, I think I shot like 5 times. And one of those times is because of deployment training. Actually, I shot twice for deployment training. I shot once to qualify for Air Force and I had to shoot again on my deployment training to qualify for the Army when I was up in Jersey. So, like, you don't even shoot that much. So, if I was able to get, if I had happened to get marksman on any one of those things, shit, you know what? I think I would have got marksman in the Army training because the Army training is a little bit more relaxed. Well, not in the sense of they don't harp over yourself. I mean, it's one thing to go out, and especially in the Air Force, you shoot at a sheet of paper, bro. You understand that? You shoot at a sheet of paper that simulates 300 meters just by making the silhouette on that sheet of paper smaller. So really, you're squinting because you have to squint because you have to block out all the other stuff and focus in on the small little black. Because when I shot with the Army, that was the best time I ever shot. I had no fucking problem because there's a difference when you're shooting an actual real target of physical accurate size of almost like a human being and stuff. Even when I shot with the 9mm, I can't even I barely qualify. I probably did qualify. They probably just passed me along. To be honest with you, when I shot with the 9mm with the M9, when I shot with the M9, I shot with my right hand and didn't qualify. I shot my left hand, and all of a sudden I qualified. I was like, I think it was fucking with me. I really got pissed off with the with the shooting range instructor. So I almost turned around and put my gun on him because he pissed me off. He's like, oh, you can't hit this. I would never go nowhere with you. You can't hit this. I was like, shut up. Did I tell him to shut up? No, I don't think I told. I was like, man. I was like, whatever, man. I was like, this is my first time picking up this gun. Like, relax. I was like, calm down. Like, I'm sorry if I can't get it off the first try. Excuse me. So I snapped on him. And he looked at me like, all right, man, calm down. I was like, oh, fuck that, man. You come at me. They're telling me to calm down. I got the gun in my hand. I do some wild shit, man. But so I'm saying, like, so this whole military, that's why I'm like, this article is misleading right off the back of the headline. And then I see in the comment section when the vets were commenting stuff, it was like, all vets already know this shit is misleading. But marksman don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing, man. It don't mean nothing. Now, if you're an Army trained sniper, that's a little bit different or something like that, right? But you get marksman, you can have a good day at range. Or if you're shooting the rifle enough, I hope you do get marksman. So the fact that he is security forces makes all the sense in the world. And they all act like he's a bad cop. Man, but he did it in the military. He got in the military and did the exact same thing, civilian-wise. I could be a police officer right now if I wanted to. I work at the sheriff's department because of my military training, because I already have the same thing. Even though I was cooking and working in fitness and wherever else, and my shit was based on customer service, hospitality, lodging, restaurant, fitness management. That's what my career field, my degree in the military, my service was based on. But still, I have the basic training of a military personnel, right? I still can understand the concept and go out there and be a police officer and stuff. I still would have to practice my shooting though. So being a military trained marksman it sounds great. It's another one of those government terms. Oh, it sounds great, but it don't mean nothing, man. It doesn't mean anything. It means you shot a piece of paper on a silhouette. You shot a little black silhouette on a white sheet of paper, small size, from like what 50 yards away. Maybe not. Maybe I don't even think it's that far away. It might be like 30 meters away. Because when you're doing the M9, you're shooting from like 25 meters away, something like that. I think it comes about like 30 yards, something like. I don't even know. It's not even that far away. And we're doing the M9. And then when you're doing the M4 or M16, it's a little bit further. But let's say you're shooting a sheet of paper on the Air Force. And the Air Force has you do dumb shit like, they try to say it's the hardest, but they have you do dumb shit like lean out the side of a door or something like that. Or you got to be in prone and position. You got to be on one knee and stuff like that. The shit that you never see police officers shoot. Because when police officers shooting, they're shooting a handgun. So they even had to do that. Pop out of a door, pop out a window because of a handgun. Because the training now is more for urban areas and stuff like that. When you're overseas, stuff like that. It's just whatever, man. It's whatever. So to say military trained marksman, I was like, okay, y'all reaching with this now. Y'all reaching with this. And the guy in the comment section made a good point. Like, they're trying to say that, oh, he was able to he's really trained, so he could have shot the girl in the leg or something like that. And it's not. That's not the case. That's not how it happens, man. That's not how it happens. And like I said, he's security forces in the Air Force. Like they shoot often and stuff. You shooting a sheet of paper. You're shooting a sheet of paper for the most part. Now, some ranges might be a little slightly different at some bases throughout the Air Force where you're actually shooting real targets. The 3 bases that I've been at, never shot an actual fucking target until I was doing training with the Army. And that's when I shot at an actual physical to scale size target. Shooting something 300 meters away that actually looked like a physical size of a human being at 300 meters away, as opposed to a small tiny dot. That's a thing on a sheet of paper. You get it? So I'm talking about 3-dimensional object, shooting a 3-dimensional object in a 3-dimensional reality, as opposed to shooting a 2-dimensional object in a 3-dimensional reality. There's a difference. There's a difference. Trust me, there's a difference. You know, don't take my word for it. You fucking do it. Don't trust me, nothing. Don't take my word for it. You figure it out. You look it up on YouTube. You do it. But that's how the media likes to lie about things and set up these false narratives and stuff. And I guess the New York Post is right leaning. I seen someone say in the comment section, I thought they were fucking central, more or left leaning. Fuck, fuck all that. I don't even know what these things are, left leaning, right leaning, all this other stuff, man. These people are just whatever they want to be. To me, the news is the same. They're trying to spread a story to create some type of clicks, to get some type of response in order to generate revenue through their ads. Plain and simple. How can they say some shit that'll get some attention to generate revenue to their ads? Or through their ads, excuse me. I was like military trained marksman, like whatever. Let's see what this article says. Man, let me catch him in even more of a lie. Oh my god. Okay, so look, Ohio police officer who shot to death a black teenage girl in a disturbing encounter with a knife appears to be a military trained marksman specializing in firing an assault rifle. Columbus police officer Nicholas Reardon, who was placed on paid leave after fatally shooting 16-year-old Micaiah Bryant Tuesday. And you know what? I don't even think he should be put on paid leave because through the way that if you want police officers to police in the manner in which that you think is right and justified, is that not it? The perseverance of life, or perseverance or whatever of life, did he not do it? He just saved a life, right? He saved a life by taking a life. But guess what? Micaiah Bryant was trying to take a life as well. You thought she was just gonna stab her just so she can hurt her really bad? I don't know about you, but if I go to stab someone, probably thinking about killing them. I'm just saying. It says that he's a U.S. Air National Guardsman. Oh man, he's in the National Guard, so hell, he's not even doing that all the time. So he probably. Hold on, bro. Hold on. Was he hold on, let me read the rest of the article. Maybe he was active duty at one point in time. He received an expert marksman badge. Expert marksman badge? There's marksman and then there's expert. Like, so whatever. Like I said, he got it with the M4 carbine rifle, according to the Daily Beast. Reardon, who joined the department in 2019. 2019. Oh, what was he a police? Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, he joined a police office. Oh, let me read the rest of this, man. So I'm assuming he joined the Columbus Police Force in 2019. He's also the son of an Air Force veteran and retired Columbus Division of Police Sergeant Edward Terry. Okay, so policing is in the family. Body cam footage, blah blah. A man can then be heard yelling, "You shot my baby! Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking serious? You shot my baby? Your baby was trying to stab someone." It looked like he yelled out, "Get down, get down." And officer can't be heard shouting before he fires 4 shots at the team. Man, I ain't not gonna lie to you. He looked like someone in the Air Force. That's profiling, but all those military vets out there, you know what I'm talking about. I'm profiling, right? I was just racist. That's what I just did again. Racist and profiling, right? Racist and profiling. Like that type of white dude who like he's in the Air Force. Racist profiling. See how bad it is, and see that's neither negative or positive. It's more neutral, but yet it's still racist. But no one's gonna say anything because I'm black. But if I was white, it'd be the most racist shit ever. Hypocrisy at its finest. Let's see. The shooting came the same day former police officer Derek Chauvin was convicted of murdering George Floyd. Another coincidence. But then again, shootings happen all throughout the time, so not too much of a coincidence. What really is the coincidence, though, is the media attention, because this shouldn't get no media attention. Not in the manner in which they want it to be. Let's see. The U.S. National Guard didn't immediately return the post request for comment Wednesday. That was it. Wait a minute. So you ain't got no. You ain't really got no evidence. God damn, man. Did they even try to write these articles? They ain't got nothing. So somebody found out that he had a marksman badge. So all you gotta do is check his military record. That's it. That's all I do is check his military record. It look like this photo shoot looks like after tech school because he only got 3 ribbons, or after basic training rather. So he got 3 ribbons. So at some point in time, he probably got marksman or whatever ribbon somewhere. Oh man, this is crazy. I want to know when he joined the National Guard, and he in the National Guard. So I'm like, but then again, he's probably already always been shooting because his family is policing. He probably has already been familiar with guns his whole life, anyways. So for him to say military trained marksman, guess you probably want to know who the best shooters are? Those competitive shooters, the people that shoot competitively as a sport. They're probably your best shooters on the planet. In a controlled environment rather, without no actual stress applied to them other than their own stress and anxiety of regular competition. So in a controlled environment, I should really say they're probably your best shooters. But yeah, see, this is, you can tell there's like a little hit piece against them saying, "Oh, well, you're a trained military marksman with the M4, though." At least they said with the M4, because obviously he didn't shoot a M4; he shot an M9. I don't know if people think that correlates to the same type of level of accuracy. It doesn't, because it also depends. Did he qualify with M4 carbine rifle? Was it naked? Was it just iron sights, or was it with a red dot? Because hey, when I say I shot better too, I had an M4. I shot good with an M9 better when the actual 3D targets, but I also shot better with an M4 3D target. And I also shot better than M4 in the 2D target as well. Wanna know why? I had a red dot, bro. You put that red dot on that shit, it makes things a little bit easier. I'm just letting you know. I'm just being honest, man. It's one thing to do iron sights, but with a red dot, and he in the Air Force, pretty sure he got a red dot on his M4. And security forces, oh, definitely. It's a little bit easy to hit that shit. You put that dot on that target. Hey, you gotta worry about seeing nothing as long as you see this color red. Or whatever color, especially if you're colorblind, you might see green or something. But as long as when it comes in both red and green. You know, alternate colors. So hey, you see this? If you put this little dot on that other little object that you're trying to shoot at, and you hold your steady and breathe and exhale when you release and you pull instead of squeezing that trigger, you're good. You're good. But see, they don't break it down like that, man. That's why you can tell it's kind of a misleading headline and a fucked up article. It doesn't really break down that. It doesn't break down the environment in which he got marksman. It doesn't break down his life history of how familiar he is with guns. It doesn't break down the fact that all you gotta do is have a good day at a range and you can get a marksman. It doesn't break down the amount of times, because just because you're in the military, that's a misconception. You're not shooting guns all the fucking time. You're shooting guns. The army, they're all. So you're in the army. Your basic trade form is Let me get off the screen because I'm done with this article. When you're in the Army, your basic trade, or your at your core, you're a soldier, right? The Marines, at your core, you're a grunt. You're going out there, and possible infantry, combat. Everything is combat related in the Marines. Combat, everything is combat related. Army, not everything is necessarily combat related. You can have operations and you can have support, but still, no matter what, you're a soldier. Navy, no matter what, you're a seaman. So when you're on that boat, you have some assigned things that in places that you have to be on the boat when it comes time to anything such as obviously battle stations, right? Air Force not the same. Air Force not the same. I think Air Force is the only department of branch, probably not with Space Force. I don't expect everybody in the Space Force to be a fucking astronaut. Although that would be cool if everybody had astronaut training, but I don't think everybody does. I don't think that's. I know it's not, because it's just a branch of the Air Force, anyways, and it was already airspace command, or space command under Air Force. So in the Air Force, the term is everyone's an airman, but that doesn't mean everyone flies planes and everyone doesn't work on planes. I remember when I joined, I had some friends like, "Oh man, do you know how to fly a plane?" I was like, "Oh, so you're flying planes?" I'm like, "I just joined not like 6 months ago. If I'm able to fly a plane this fast, that's probably a problem." I don't think you could just hop up in the plane and be able to fly around this fast and I'm good and stuff. Not to say that's not possible, but if that was like the standard, flying planes must be super fucking easy, right? Or something like that. So really, in a sense, in the Air Force, everybody would be considered airmen, or everybody's an airman. Everybody really should be to have some type of basic knowledge of aircraft maintenance, but that's not the case in the Air Force. So when you're in the Air Force, you what you have is basic law enforcement, military skills, but not necessarily soldier, but military skills. Knowing how to use a M16 or M4 now. I shouldn't even say M16. I feel old. I mean, I was in BDU, so it lets you know I'm not even that old. Kiss my ass. But then you have M9. Like, you don't get M9 training unless you go into a deployed environment where you're authorized to carry M9. So M9 is not even shot. Like, I never even shot an M9 until I deployed to that area of theater where I had to have M9. And that's only because of the people I was going with. I was going with special forces from the Army, and they had M9s, and everybody carried an M9 on camp. So that's why I had to qualify with an M9, and I carried an M9 every day. Imagine that, right? Being in the kitchen cooking, you got M9 on your hip at all times. It's not lock and loaded unless they go to our alarm red or alarm green or code red, something like that. There was a few times where I had to be lock and loaded, ready to go. I was like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna shoot one of you motherfuckers." I was like, at that point in time, you get hyped up. He's like, "Oh yeah, let some shit pop off. I'm shooting somebody today." I'm just being honest with you. That's some mindset. That's what I said. You're in the military, you're a little off, man, because you're hyped up to kill somebody at some point in time. Like, you're hyped up, you're trained to be ready to shoot a target, to shoot at another human being. And sometimes you get a little too hyped and you're like, shit. When you go through all that practice, you go through all those scenarios, you go through all that training, at some point in time, you're kind of like, you know what? I want to apply this in real life. Let one of y'all act up. Let one of y'all make a mistake. Or not a mistake. Let one of y'all make some type of choice that puts you in a situation where I got to pull this gun. I'm shooting you. Hey, I'm just being honest, man. I'm just being honest, man. That's the mindset, because that's what they put you under. They put you under that mindset. So you go through all that training. So we always look at these people like heroes. So that, but you understand, man. People being trained to kill someone. What happens when you're trained to kill someone and you don't get a chance to put that training into practicality? You kind of get a little antsy because you want to see if this training actually works. You want to see if you can actually do it. So you kind of get a little amped up. Makes you a little bit off, man. I'm sorry, man. I had to laugh at this because I don't think people understand sometimes. Man. So to say all this, that you can. I know I kind of went off somewhere else, but to say all, I'm gonna try to bring it back. So to say all this, military trained marksman, all of those stuff, and people think that even if he wasn't military marksman, to think that you can pull out a gun and make these incredible shots under intense pressure. No, man, that's it's not reality, man. That's not reality. You're gonna make the safe shot. The safe shot is to go to is to go to towards the torso, right? There, you don't shoot. There's no targets of a full body silhouette. Even in a 2D printout, I don't think there is a full body of that. It's always top part because well, you could. There might be some training, and there might be some people that might go about that way. But understand this: when you shoot at a target, you have to hit it because if you do not hit that target, meaning if you shoot at a human being, and if you don't shoot that human being, if you don't hit that human being, now you have stray bullets, and a stray bullet is a bad thing. Sometimes you hear the argument. People, I think I was listening. Yeah, Young Ribbon 59 was talking about people that bring up the idea that just shoot your gun off into the air, a warning shot. Warning shots are for people in the military, because people in the military, you got a Geneva Convention, you got a law of armed conflict, you got all these different treaties and negotiations or international laws and stuff where you have to go about certain things before you shoot someone. Like you can't shoot at nobody until they're aiming at you, because I still don't think we're under wartime. I know that was something me and my best friend had a discussion about. He's in the Navy. And I was like, nah, we're still under peacetime. He's like, nah, this so-and-so told me, one of his ranking military members, and it was like, told him that it was under wartime. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's still peacetime. I mean, it was peacetime when I deployed. I don't know when it's changed, but just because you say war on terror, terror doesn't exist. So, or terrorist is any fucking body. So I think you only could declare war on actual nations and governments and people of soldiers acting in the association are under that government, right? So I don't even think you can shoot. Yeah, I don't think you can shoot someone in a parachute, knowing that's an enemy and they're parachuting down. I think you have to wait for them to touch the ground. I think even if they're actively shooting at you, I think you have to wait. And we had to go over these scenarios, whether it was simulation, as far as a virtual reality, a video game or something like that, a computer game, to have those too, or whether you're in an actual real physical simulation where you have actual real people acting out a certain exercise or a certain scenario. So you're a police officer. You can't go, if you're going to shoot, you have to shoot to hit your target. You can't take a chance of trying to shoot the gun out of someone's hand. You can't take a chance trying to hit a leg or a thigh or something, because if you miss, now you have straight bullets. And now you're putting innocent lives at risk, because the person that you're shooting at, more than likely, probably 100% chance that you're shooting at this person because they're trying to physically harm someone. They're threatening the life of another person and you're trying to stop them. So that's what you do. You shoot to stop. And you hit the biggest part of the body, which is the torso, because you have to hit your target. If you don't hit your target, now you have a straight bullet. You can't shoot the gun up into the air. Hell, I think it was on 100 or 1,000 Ways to Die. You know bullets come down, right? I know gravity might kind of be misleading sometimes, but bullets come down. And the bullet probably is going to come down the same way it came out the gun, right? The deadly end first, right? They're gonna go on a tailspin, go all over the place. No, that bullet's gonna probably come down the same way we went out. So you can't just fire your gun off into the air, because at some point that bullet has to come down somewhere. And now you know hurt someone sitting in their house watching fucking TV or playing Xbox. Some kid, next thing you know, bam, they dead because the bullet went through their window, and they was just fucking minding their own business. So like I said, if you're gonna shoot, you have to hit the target. And the best way to hit that target is to shoot the torso area. Like, it's hard to hit a headshot. You understand that? It's hard to hit a headshot. And you're talking about shooting a hand? That's even more incredible hard. That's more incredibly hard, right? I get it, man. It sounds good, but when you actually shooting a gun and stuff, like it's different, man. It's different. Now maybe you can shoot someone in the leg if you're chasing a suspect and out in the middle of the woods or something like that, and you're just trying to stop them until you just want to shoot them in the leg, or you want to just shoot them at all, just hit them somewhere, just wait. If anything, just slow them down, right? That's different. But And because they have a gun in their hand and stuff, there's no immediate uh, threat of them trying to harm someone because there's no one else around. But they can still possibly harm you or whatever. So you might want to just shoot them in the leg, or you just want to shoot just to hit something, and you're not worried about stray bullets because all the people that are on your side are either aligned with you or behind you, and then there's no one else to worry about other than that one individual. But see how that works? Case by case scenario. See how many involving factors involving factors that comes with each case by case scenario and which situation you need to shoot directly at the upper torso of a target to put them down, or maybe you just got hit somewhere on the body and you can get away with it. Case by case scenario. In this case, you shoot to put the person down because she had a knife in her hand and she was going. I'm just telling you from a law enforcement standpoint, whether you agree with it or not, whether you want to talk about military and all that stuff, I'm not giving that perspective. I'm telling you from a law enforcement standpoint, you're going to shoot to put a target down because they're about to apply deadly force to someone else. You shoot up in the upper torso area to put them down. All this ain't no Matrix, ain't no Crouchy Tiger, Hidden Dragon type of shooting shit. This ain't no action movie. We are not Arnold Schwarzenegger. No. You shoot the person in the torso, you put them down. That's it, man. As always, check out the live stream Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Like I said, I know I've done it this week. If I don't do the live stream, I'll go ahead and make a post on my Twitter, Gab, and on my blog site. Go ahead and check that out. Damien, Damien, Jackson22.com. Make sure you guys check it out. Check out the Underdog product store. Support the channel. Like some of the shirts. I've been wearing them. I'm gonna start wearing more of. I'm gonna purchase more of them and wear more of them because, well, of course I like them. I fucking made them. I hope I like them, right? Make sure you guys take care of your family, take care of yourself, enjoy the positive, embrace the negative, learn from everything, all that good shit. I'll be back on tomorrow. So until next time.